Right then, everybody. A tad late, but only by seconds. We're going to go live, obviously, in about 3 minutes' time. But now is the time. If you are a subscriber, if you are somebody that subscribes to our YouTube channel, if you get the notifications, you know that we're up and running, which means you've got 2 minutes and 42 seconds to actually leave this stream and then bugger off to your social medias, find the people that are attending WonderCon 2022 in just a couple of weeks' time, and let them know that they can actually come on the show. Because what we're going to do is we're going to let the invite go public, and if you are attending WonderCon this year, you can come on screen, come on with your phone, and let everyone know about your booth, your panel, your appearance, your signing schedule. I don't know, anything that you want to kind of let everyone know about. We are going to let this be an open forum. So if you're attending WonderCon, now's the time to let us know. Because like I say, we're going to put the invite to the whole shebang up on screen. And you can kind of spread the word about your particular show and your particular bits and pieces. So that's what we're getting up to. What else can we do? I think we can press this because, of course, we'd like to thank our various patrons, because they are the ones that allow us to do what we do. Always a bonus. But yes, we're going to put up on screen where you can join the stream. So this could be a real hazard. But we're going to do this. There it is. It's up on screen right now. If you are attending WonderCon, either as a attendee, maybe you want to talk about some things that you're going to be doing and where you're going to be heading. Maybe you are a artist that has a small booth or something in small press or in Artist Alley that you want to spread the word about. Maybe you are an exhibitor that has a booth that wants to kind of spread the word in the Anaheim Convention Centre. Like I say, now is the time, because this is what this show is going to be all about. It's going to be showcasing certainly the programs that have been released by San Diego Comic-Con International, or Comic-Con International. That's what we're going to get into, because this is WonderCon Part 2. Right then, hello there, everybody. Welcome along to Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Leonard Sultana, and this is where we talk Comic-Cons, con culture, and all the stuff and nonsense we get to enjoy at such shows each and every Sunday at 6 o'clock in the evening here in the UK. I say that because I would usually say 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT, but of course, in the US, you are currently enjoying summer daylight savings time. You had your clocks go back forward last week. So it is currently, 11 a.m. Pacific. It's 2 p.m. Eastern. We appreciate it's a slight shift of time for you, but this is 6 p.m. here in the UK. This is when we do our show. And what we're going to be doing today, I'm just going to check. It's saying that I've actually got a little bit of low internet signal. So please do let me know if I get any drop off, any dropouts, any kind of signal drop. Do let me know. And we've got one or two people sort of like joining us for the show. Toby Tolentino, hello. Morning, Leonard and all. Good morning to you. Aaron Neighbors, hola from San Diego. Michael P, good morning from Colorado. Hello there. Movers and Shakers, they have been putting on some great shows. Do check out their YouTube or their Facebook. Movers and Shakers have been putting on some great podcasts recently. I've been watching and I've been really enjoying what they've been doing. So, yeah, do check out, search for Movers and Shakers on your podcast platforms because they are a cracking show and well worth checking out. Dan Berry, more awake than last show. Marginally. Okay, no, I am a lot more awake than last show because my word, yeah, I was absolutely, I was zombified. I was absolutely zombified throughout the entire proceeding. But no, we got ourselves up and running. What are we talking about today? We are talking about WonderCon. This is part 2 of our preview. Not that far to go now. I mean, let's have a look at the old the diary because we're talking 2 weeks. 2 weeks to WonderCon. And I know that there's several people who are really excited about attending the show. I know that I've got some cosplay friends that are getting their outfits all ready to go. I mean, the excitement for this is really building very, very rapidly. And you can tell that by the chatter online. Admittedly, it's something that I've noticed with Comic-Con Special Edition that took place. Those that are talking about it are the con attendees, as in it's that hardcore fan base that is really excited about attending Comic-Con and attending WonderCon. That's great. But you know how before pandemic, Comic-Cons and their reach and their influence kind of moved a little bit further and into general pop culture? I'm starting to recognize that, well, we are back into some kind of an insular world. We that kind of 2-year break has kind of disconnected us from the wider pop culture, and we need to get back to kind of influencing what people are listening to and watching and playing. And I think that's where we may lose a number of the bigger influencers and studios, because at the end of the day, they want eyeballs on their product. And if it's only going to be a small insular crowd, I think it's just going to be a bit of a struggle to claw that back. So we need to kind of generate as much noise as we can with shows like this and with any kind of feeds that you have as well. Let's spread the word. You guys are heading to WonderCon. I'm not going, unfortunately, but we will be representing because Dan Berry is talking about his attendance because we've got Aaron Neighbors. I just booked my hotel for WonderCon. Excellent stuff. We've got Dan Berry. I booked mine a few months ago. And we got Andrew Dickinson as well. Just had to pass the PCR test. Yes, I appreciate that. Toby as well. No WonderCon show for me this year. Maybe next year. One day I'll go. One day I'll be able to make it. But the more that I get my feet under the table at the proper job, then I may not be able to make it. Right. Just a quick disclaimer off the top of the bat, because I haven't been feeling 100% post-COVID a couple of weeks back. I feel like I've been in a smoky room, or I feel like I've been stood on my chest. It's just feeling a little bit tight right about here. And full disclosure, I have also been coughing up blood. Don't worry, I'm certain it's just more the scarring from the COVID. So I'm not panicking too much, but I have contacted NHS service here in the UK. We've got an online kind of form that you fill out. You describe your symptoms, describe your situation, and they basically say whether you need to go to A&E or you just need to see a GP, or you just calm yourself to cool your jets. What they've actually turned around and said is they're going to actually ring me within the hour, and that was about an hour and 5 minutes ago. If the phone goes off, I am going to be putting this on pause, or even just putting this on hold, and we'll have to kind of sort something out. If that happens, either what I'll do is I'll probably put the countdown up on screen again, and ask you to just bear with me. And if it doesn't, if the countdown, the 3 minutes runs out and the phone call still is going on, then we'll put this on hold. We'll put the end credits on, put them on speaker so we can hear the full convo. No, it's my medical condition. I'll keep it private. Thank you very much indeed. Well, I'll let you know what the outcome is, but if that's the case, right? Okay. So what else? We've got ourselves. Tell you what, let's just dive into it. We talked about special guests on Wednesday. Nice little lineup, and like I said, it was great to see it representing across all spectrum, as WonderCon is wont to do. Very strong when it comes to its literary presence. So some great writers showing up, prose writers showing up in the special guests, but also some fantastic comics representation as well. But that has also been shown in the programming, which I think we shall dive into. I'm not going to lie, I don't necessarily believe that this is the most useful way of doing the schedule. I don't know what it is about Comic-Con. They seem to kind of keep chopping and changing about how they can put a schedule up on screen, but it doesn't seem to quite jive. I don't know what it is. I think they just need to kind of get their head out of their ass when it comes to this. But what we are going to do is go through the schedule day by day and kind of talk through certainly the headliners, the ones that are going to be in the bigger rooms, which is mostly North 200A, 200B, and no arena in this particular show. But we're going to kind of talk about a couple of the smaller rooms as well. If you've got any comments, anything that jumps out at you, anything that you looked at the schedule, have you looked at the schedule? Tell you what, let's jump into that. Have you looked at the schedule? If you are attending Comic-Con, do let us know, and let us know if you're attending this, if you're jumping on the schedule. Also, if you're watching this, perhaps you're watching this on my Twitter feed, maybe you're watching this on Facebook, and you are a professional that happens to be going. Maybe you're attending a small press, maybe you're attending an artist alley, maybe you're attending a panel, maybe you're you've got a smaller panel that you would like to kind of showcase. If Clydeen Nee is watching, don't worry, we're actually going to be showcasing your panel pretty much first thing off, because it's one of the first panels of the weekend. So yeah, let's dive in. Let's have a look at this. Robert Silver. Doesn't look like they're using the arena this year. No, they're not. The biggest room is 200B. So let's have a look at this. Unofficial bloggers combined into rude views per day. I have no idea what that means. So can you let us know what you're actually talking about, Andrew? Or either that or you're typing on your phone. So do let us know. Scott stopped using Shed last year. Mentioned at the talkback. So, okay, let's dive into it then. Let's get into the actual schedule itself, because it's quite a big and busy setup. So it's great that they're doing a full showcase of programming. And not only that, but it's a real variety as well, which is what Comic-Con really does very, very well. Some real niche panels showing real celebration of diversity and marginal topics, and really kind of giving the option to showcase those. Again, I really wish that a number of these would be online. I wish they'd have learned from Comic-Con online, because that would have been just so much better. Let's have a look. Unofficial bloggers combined into room views per day, so you can see what panels before the one you want to see. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But let's dive into this then. We'll go that way. So this time we can all see what we're doing. Excellent stuff. Right. So let's go through the schedule then. Like I say, we've got the 3 days of Friday, April the 1st, Saturday, April the 2nd, and Sunday, April the 3rd. All of these times are in GMT, so we're going to see what they're actual like in local time. So yeah, first panel of the day in North 200B. So it's a nice big room for this. It is Michael Grumley's UFO Fact and Fiction, taking place for an hour. And yes, best-selling author Michael C. Grumley explores the fact and fiction of UFOs and UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena in history, literature, pop culture, and how alien phenomena impact his popular breakthrough and last monument book sagas. Joined by CCI artist alley coordinator Clydie Nee and moderator Gina Smith. Yeah, that's going to be a fascinating panel. If anything, but if you are a UFO nut, and I know that Clydie is it me or is the UFO fraternity, the whole aspect and the fascination with UFOs really exploded over the last couple of years? So yeah, we're back to it. So we're exploring the discs in the sky. So yeah, that's the first panel straight off the bat, and in a nice big room in 200B. So I think that's a great representation for that panel, and I really do hope that Clydie has a great time at that particular show. So what else have we got? Though these, I've got a list here. These are the ones that have jumped out at me. But as we scroll through, we'll kind of talk about some of the headliners. But also, if there's any that you want to talk about, let's look in and discuss and the various shows and programs and books that are being represented on the screen as we go through. So a couple of spotlight panels throughout the course of the weekend, of course. In room 213C at 2 p.m. is spotlight on Michael Cho, one of the special guests in the room. But this is interesting as well. There's going to be a panel about Comic-Con Museum, which has always been very popular, especially considering it's had its soft opening and it's now getting its grand opening for San Diego Comic-Con 2022 in July. We've got ourselves the new executive director, Rita Vandegor. We've got the senior director of programming, Eddie Ibrahim, in the room. And of course, museum exhibits and programming consultant, Chris Ryle, formerly of IDW, local lad in San Diego. Heaven knows, he's putting himself about. He's got himself a new publishing house. So he's doing his own books. Yeah, some really exciting things and people being drawn into putting together the content for Comic-Con Museum. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what gets announced for this. Be the first to get the inside scoop and be prepared for a very special announcement. What on earth that could possibly be, we have no idea. But that is Comic-Con Museum, 2 o'clock till 3 in room 300B. Nice big enough room. Let's have a look. Fierce Reads, Fierce Females kind of jumped out at me as well. But this one at 3 o'clock as well. In room 209, Adora and the Distance with Mark Bernardin. Now, this is a book that has been doing on the plans for a while. It did come out from Dark Horse, Adora and the Distance. It's a fantasy adventure which has its own twists and surprises. A story that's familiar and unexpected in startlingly beautiful ways. Okay, that's a little bit vague when it comes to the description, but it is very much about empowerment of a young woman and empowerment of a young woman with disability and with diversity. So yeah, it's a really powerful and personal story to Mark Bernardin. Chip Mosier, who's always a engaging watch. He's the host of this. He's the head of content for Comixology Originals. It's a shame that they're not going to have the artist there, which is Ariella Cristantina, who I'm a massive fan of. If you've not seen her work before, I mean, I think of a book that I would point you in your direction. Insects, which came out from Aftershock, which she did. Stunning. The artwork that she does is amazing. So to pair up with Mark Bernardin, that's a force to be reckoned with. A hell of a book. But there we go. Adora in the Distance. That is going to be in room 209. So if you would like to check that out, let's see if we've got any comments as well. Make a list of the panels you want us to try and cover. No, you cover the ones that you want to cover. This is what it's always been about, Dan. Come on, it's the stuff that fascinates you. If it fascinates you, then I'm certain it fascinates somebody else. if we just cover what I want to see, then we cover what everyone else covers. Let's get a personal thing. You cover you go to the things that you want to showcase, mate. Always. Toby, voice actors panel. Okay, let's go back to that one. It's actually at the same time as the Mark Bernardin panel. Voice actors Imbrov Plastoff in 207. Join IFA Hollywood and your host Lex Lang, Star Wars Resistance and the Batman, as he and your famous voice actors blast off to uncharted territories, comedy characters, surprise guests, audience participation, and more. This panel is the perfect opportunity to watch and hear the very best in the business and stretch their talents in improv and other surprises live. No names, but keep your eye on your favorite voice actor. You never know. I know that I think Tara Strong is heading to WonderCon, so she may show up. Keep your eyes on the your favorite voiceover actor or voice actor and see if they're going to be attending that, because that could prove to be a very busy panel indeed. In the big room, North 200B, that's going to be someone calling my father. So I think we'll just, it's not the call. Don't worry about that. In behind the scenes with the Borg Queen from Star Trek Picard in North 200B. But at the same time of that is in 330 in room 213B. Not as big at all. In fact, 213B, let's just have a quick check of the size of that. 789 people. We're talking your influence of pop culture via your own fandom. When we were kids, our geeky interests seemed to limited to a small circle of friends and our imagination. Today, pop culture is touching and influencing every corner of the world. Join a panel of industry specialists as they debate fun fictional topics as well as their IRL equivalent topics to include racisms, gender equality, cancel culture, economic disparity, social justice, and more. That last line makes it so fun, doesn't it? But these are important topics. And as it happens, some great people involved. One of them I'm not entirely familiar with their work, which is Dr. Drea Letaminde, who's a clinical psychologist, but we are very familiar with Tony B. Kim, of course, of Crazy for Comic Con and Hero Within. Chris Sully, formerly of Funko, and now he's on here, a Twitch influencer. So that's what he is now. He's just a Twitch influencer. More than that, he's very much a friend to all when it comes to fandom. And Laura Sirskill, who's a writer. That could be a really fascinating panel. It seems like a very vague kind of topic, though. So let's see what they come up with. I hope they record it. I hope they get it out there. I'm certain with Tony B. Kim, they'll get that recorded and get it out. But if it's a toss-up between behind the scenes with the Borg Queen from Star Trek Picard and pop culture versus the world, I don't know. I think I'd probably go for the small one and show some support for that panel. So, yeah, I think, see what happens. Andrew Dickinson, Mark and Kevin both on Friday, even though it says Saturday only for Kevin on a special guest page, hoping for a Fat Man Beyond panel for the Kevin panel later on. No, it won't be. I guarantee it won't. I'm sorry, but when it comes to his live show and when it comes to Comic-Con, all he has to do is jump on a microphone and jump on stage and do it himself. It's going to be the Kevin Smith panel. It ain't going to be anybody else. Unless he wants to promote Clerks 3, in which case he may get some cast on. It ain't going to be the Mark Bernardin. Fat Man Beyond is Fat Man Beyond. This is Mark Bernardin. I'm sorry, mate, but it ain't going to happen. I guarantee you that's the case. Seen some of the voice actors panels at San Diego Comic Con. Those can be crazy hilarious. Absolutely. Let's go back to the schedule then. Let's see what else we've got to look at. Shannon Hale getting the spotlight at 4 o'clock. That's going to be interesting. CBDLDF, Days of Censorship Past, envisioning a new defense of comics. CBLDF, the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, has had its controversies, its ups and downs, and some real struggles to kind of battle through those. It's wanting to come out the other side as a strong supporter and force for the defense of comic creators that find their backs against the wall in a legal standpoint. They have not. It is not an easy thing to do. not struggling against the controversies they've got. But let's see who they've got involved. No names, but I can only imagine that they're going to have the acting president of the. Is he still in place, or will he still be in place by this point? We have to do some research into that, but I think he's still in place as the president of CBLDF. But I guarantee the majority of that panel will be addressing how the organization can operate post its issues and whether those issues have been properly addressed. I'm actually hoping there's going to be a number of people in the room that will question them on it. I'm hoping that because like all organizations of any type, and I hope you read the subtext into this one, if it is a strong enough topic and if its roots are strong, then it can survive any kind of questioning and, any kind of, not attack, but just kind of against its roots, the word I'm looking for, because I don't want to use attack. Just any kind of questioning against those pillars, those tenets to its core ideologies. If it can do that, then it's strong and it deserves to move forward. If CBLDF cannot survive any kind of rational questioning of its past, its present, and its future, then that's where I hope that more sort of questioning comes of that organization, as much as a supporter of the idea of CBLDF comes from me. Okay. Oh, hello. We've got ourselves. I think I've just pressed wrong thing. No. I'm still okay. I'm all right. Okay. It's just I accidentally caught the schedule, and let's just put that back into there. Okay. Let's continue with the lineup. Things like I say, these are the ones. This is the list that I came up with of things that caught my attention. Is it something that attracts your attention? Do let us know. Keeping secrets, whether every memorable book is a reveal, whether it's a slow burn or a jaw-dropping reveal. What's the secret to creating a secret? You've got the likes of David F. Walker and James Rollins on this particular panel. That's the reason why I kind of jumped out at me, because David F. Walker is just an incredible creator. He's also got himself the series Naomi, which is being showcased. We're going to talk about that in a minute, because that's going to be one of my big panels on this particular thing. Shame that the 50 Years of Funny, the cartooning career of Scott Shaw, has been cancelled, but I suspect that's maybe that Scott Shaw may not be attending the show this year. That's a shame. But there we go. Heavy Metal, The Legend continues. This is at 5 o'clock in room 300B, home to the premier home of science fiction, fantasy, and horror 45 years. It's a magazine that over the last couple of years, under the helm of some incredible managers, editors, writers, they have really put themselves back onto the racks as a mainstream force, especially in Western comics. So yeah, I think there's going to be some stuff about what's coming up for heavy metal on this particular panel. It's be curious to see who actually attends it, but that could be a panel that might be worthwhile checking out. That's Heavy Metal, The Legend continues in room 300B. Okay. Z2 Comics, the graphic album. Z2 is a great publisher. I want to see what they do, but considering you've got some other panels as well at the same time, 6 o'clock is a very busy time in the evening, considering as the day winds down. But it's some great panels up and running. Spotlight on Michael W. Conrad, Nerds with PTSD, Scare Your Children, Nacelle, your new favorite toy company, etc., etc. But the one I want to go on, and this is seems like a very niche panel, but considering how many crossovers are currently doing the rounds, this could be interesting to just talk about. Tyler Houston, who's a comics and culture expert, Kelly Boston, epidemiologist, Bobble Jean Garcia, epidemiologist, and Monty Pye, a trauma therapist, discuss healing, trauma response, and recovery as depicted in comics and popular media, and how we represent physical, mental, and societal healing in our factions. Living through the latest crossover. Now what? I think that could be a really interesting panel with about maybe 6 people in the audience. Check that out. I don't know, if you find yourself footloose and fancy free on the Saturday, on the Friday, sorry, at 6, that could be interesting. I would be in the room for that. I think that would just be interesting to me. Okay, let's go through. Like I said, there's the ones that kind of jumped out at me. How to get people to stop at your booth. That's a little bit niche, but certainly for those professionals that are wanting to reestablish themselves in the Comic-Cons post-COVID, how to get that business, that money back over the table. However, I think at 7 o'clock, and sorry, 7:30, the big panel, of course, that people are very interested in is the panel with Kevin Smith. The world's worst Kevin Smith salesman tries to sells you on Kevin Smith as a person, podcaster, pop culture commentator, writer, director, and general nuisance. Come and see and hear a little Clerks 3. Yeah, he's going to be pimping that big. At the end of the day, that's what he does. He's a pimp. First and foremost, he wants you to go and see that film. But yes, it will be the Kevin Smith panel, which means Q&A, some interesting discussions. He doesn't seem to run out of anecdotes, does he? And he's always he's got that gift of the gab. He's great on the microphone. Yeah, it's going to be a fun session. Is that? However, if you are unable to make it to the Kevin Smith panel, or maybe Kevin Smith isn't your particular cup of tea, may I recommend waiting half an hour for unnecessary debates in room 209. This one attracts my attention. Let's just see what's going on here. I've got a bit of a freeze on my screen. Okay, Veronica Nunes, I'm only going on Saturday and Sunday this year. I'm sad to miss Kevin and Mark's panels. I don't doubt it. Well, we're going to get to Saturday and Sunday as well, so bear with us. We are going to get to it, and we'll go through the Saturday and Sunday panels as well. But yeah, the one down at the bottom, I know what I wanted to do. Let's just rechange that to just programs, because yes, there's all the games and all the anime and some films being shown as well as their streaming service, as it were. So yes, stuff to be interested in that. But no, the one that caught my attention then, unnecessary debates in room 209. This has got some great people involved. Have you ever wanted to hear funny people debate things you thought should never be debated? Jenny Jaff, writer of Big 06, Diana Toshiko, actress from Los Angeles Talent Showcase, Derek Murray, host of Jack of All Nerds show, Lamar Harris from Most Extreme Ranking Challenge, Betty Geek, Ryan Omega, Ty McFall. This looks like a really fun session. And I've seen footage of their other panels that they've done at WonderCon and at San Diego Comic-Con in the past. Unnecessary debates. Yeah, if Kevin Smith doesn't kind of grab you, maybe this can. At 8 o'clock through till 9 in room 209. I think that's rather cool. But the other one as well that caught my attention is this at the same time at 8 o'clock in room 211, just down the road. Blake Schultz, Anastasia Washington, Terrence Tatum with Ed Greer and Jamie Girac, great creators, one and all, discuss how the superhero movie genre has handled its villains over the year. Do they always need to die, or can they be rehabilitated? I seem to remember that Batman 89, where Jack Nicholson fell off the roof, hit the church steps, and died. And it just seemed like a real kind of moment when they killed a villain. Instead of doing that hard Control-Alt-Delete and reset everything for the next film, there was an actual death. Admittedly, we kind of moved on to other villains in the genre. I mean, to be fair, we also lost those as well. So we lost the Penguin in Batman Returns. We lost who else do we lose? We lost the Riddler in Batman and Robin. Or was it no? Did we lose Harvey Two-Face? We lost Two-Face. He died as he fell down the pit. Of course, the Riddler, Jim Carrey, went into Arkham. We seem to have these heroes that are dying on screen. So that's what this is going to cover. They don't need to do that anymore, podcast. Does the villain need to die? I think that could be really, really interesting. So that is going to be in room 211 at 8 through till 9. Into the Blue Mister. Sorry, I'm late. Been out unicycling. What have I missed? You unicycling. I want to see a photo of that, if you don't mind. Can you just sort of send me a photo? Unicycling is excellent. So please let us know. I want to see pictures of that. Okay. Very quickly, if you are watching this, or if you're just kind of scrolling through your Twitter feed and just happen to be watching this, maybe you are attending WonderCon in 2 weeks' time, and you are a professional, or you're an artist, or you're a creator, or you're a panel host or a panel guest, and you want to kind of showcase something that's happening that you are attending at WonderCon. Now's the time to jump on the show and let us know. There's the invite list. Make a note of it. StreamYard.com/VHH6DIV5YN. Type it into your browser. Let it access your camera. Jump in, because I want to talk to you about what you are doing at the show, because that's what we're going to be doing today. Let's have a look at this. Andrew Dickinson, the films are watch alongs on HBO. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, I know that they're doing on the Friday all of the Lord of the Rings, the extended editions. Surely over the course of WonderCon, you've got other things to do. I don't know. I don't quite understand that, but there we go. All right. Next day, let's go to our programming for the Saturday, the April the 2nd. All starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, room 207, bringing Spider-Man and Batman to life, which is the one that I kind of jumped out at me, considering you've got some incredible talent showing up on stage. Filmmakers from VFX Studio Crafty Apes, Andrew Kalicki, Bobby Tucker, Josh Lacrosse, John Brubaker, and John Balcombe, all providing fans with the ultimate experience by diving into the creation of iconic superhero films, taking an audience through a behind-the-scenes journey into the action. The Batman, Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, we've got some real names that are showing up for this. I think this could be a really fun panel straight off the bat, bringing Spider-Man and Batman to life through VFX. It's going to be in room 207. It's not going to be the biggest room. Yeah, I think that could do with as much support as it possibly can. What else have we got here? Oh, we've got a bit of contact here. Let's have a look. Heidi Tandy, who is follows me on Twitter. If you want to spread the word, and if you want to follow Traveling Heidi, yeah, that's a interesting setup. Very, very cool indeed. And this actually happens on Saturday afternoon. So no, we'll talk about her panel, because she's on a panel with Carol Pinchinevsky, and also with Tea and Absence as well. So we'll get into that a little bit later on, because there's a panel which they're taking part in. I've been asked to kind of showcase. We'll do that as well. So let's go through. Like I say, these are the programs. So we'll just take the anime out of there, and we'll take everything else. Let's just go for the programs. Programs, games, anime films, children's films, of course. But let's go through the programs track for today. Like I say, the ones that have jumped out. I mean, everyone's a critic, being a pop culture journalist in the online age. Yes, that's the kind of thing that would interest me. But let's see what could possibly interest you. Extreme Studios 30th anniversary with Rob Liefeld. Yes, that could be of interest for those that like their pouches and their non-existent feet. But, you know, he's a bit of a ledge. He's a bit of a character. So if you want to check that out. But no, the one that kind of caught my attention here is Practical Makeup is Not Dead. And I'm hoping that they have a little bit more physical demonstration of this. Makeup effects artist Jeff Barkey for effects artist for Frost and Break of Dawn will apply prosthetic makeup, demonstrating how you don't have to use CG to create a believable character. Joined by professional cosplayers Trey Barkley and Desiree Preston for Q&A. This could be really, really cool. Yeah, it's in room 300D.
Nice enough room. It's a nice enough room to be in. 300D. Yeah, that's nearly 2,000 people that could go into that. So yeah, that could be. It depends how it's all split down, but check that out. That could be really, really cool. Like I say, it's at 11 o'clock in the morning. Practical makeup is not dead. So let's just see what they're doing with 300, because I suspect, yeah, because in the past, 300 AB is 1,500, 300D is just over 2,200, so it's going to be splitting the rooms down. Yeah, they're just going to be maximizing as much of the space as they possibly can, absolutely. But at the same time as that, if practical makeup doesn't attract your attention, North 200A, one of the big rooms, is going to be behind the scenes of the quest. Now, this is a show that has got my attention purely through the people that are excited about this show are people I pay attention to. They've seen the prelims, they've seen the way that what Disney Plus are doing with this. This could be cool. So the quest, it's a show from Disney Plus, groundbreaking immersive series dropping 8 teens into the fantastic fictional world of Everrealm, where they must save a kingdom by fulfilling an ancient prophecy. This isn't new. We've kind of seen this before. The likes of even the never-ending story. Just those normal kids being thrown into a mythical world. Jumanji, die if you want to go the other end. Where this sits, however, in that kind of whether at one end you've got all the yucks with Jumanji, and then you've got genuine threat with Die. This seems like it's going to sit more towards the Die side, so I'm curious to see how it's go. 8-episode series. Heroes immersed with a fantasy world come to life, replete with a castle, royals, ethereal fates, and a sorceress intent on destruction and power. Yes, it's your trope of a female witch that's going to put the pressure on our heroes. Hey, well, if it worked for the Wizard of Oz, it's going to work for everybody else as well, isn't it? So yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. From, like I say, from what I've seen of that particular show and the people that have spread the word about it, this could be cool. 11 a.m. North 200A, behind the scenes of the quest. Okay, let's go through a little bit further. Spotlight on David Mark Webber at 12 o'clock in room 209. That could be rather cool. Let's talk story, writing comics and TV in 211. Storyboards, The Unseen Heart of Hollywood. Now, I was hoping that we were going to have some real names, which have shown interest in going to WonderCon. I was hoping we were going to get some real kind of concept art legends joining us for this. As it happens, the names that are being mentioned, I'm not too familiar with. Janet Kuznick, Mark Venner, moderator Tim Burgard, and author Trevor Goring. It's a book about storyboards, The Unseen Heart of Hollywood, instead of the actual topic itself. Yeah, I think the actual topic itself would be more interesting than a book about the topic. I don't know. That could be interesting. You're gonna have to let us know. Let's have a look at Disney Bounding as well. Caught my attention, but it's more about the fandom of Disney, which is all good. Spotlight on Kevin Eastman in room 207 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Engaging students in the classroom, which was really good. But this is the one for me during the day at 1 o'clock in North 200A. It's the big room of the day, or big room of the show, and it is Naomi. It is a special video presentation, yes, but it depends who else is going to show up and kind of showcase what Naomi can be. It's a DC drama following the journey of a cool, confident, comic book loving teenager as she pursues a hidden destiny. Miss Marvel much? So yeah, in a supernatural event shakes her hometown of Port Oswego to the core, Naomi sets out to uncover its origins with a little help from her fiercely loyal best friend, Annabelle, played by Mary Jane Charles Jones. You've also got some other great actors in here as well, including stars from the likes of Filthy Rich, Orange is the New Black, etc. It's a cracking little lineup, but it depends who's actually going to be on stage for this. Series star Casey Walfall, who plays Naomi, is going to be on screen. But it says here, additional members of the cast and creative team for a special video presentation. I'm hoping for more. Naomi could be a real. I mean, it's created from a book which was created by Michael Bendis, Jamal Campbell, and David F. Walker. David F. Walker's there. He's a special guest. Hopefully, he's going to be on stage to put and present this particular show. So this could be rather cool, though. It depends who's going to take part, who's going to be participating in it. Naomi, special video presentation and Q&A. That is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that could be rather cool. North 200A. Okay, let's see. VFX of Doctor Who. You can do this. I quite like the effects of Doctor Who, but I think the Mill did it better. So I don't know. CBDLDF, another panel defending comics today. They really are making every effort to get out there and rehabilitate themselves, aren't they? Andrew Dickinson, the One Ring panel for me, special edition version was excellent. Yeah. Okay, let's put this back up again. If you are watching, if you're just coming across this show, come on. We want to showcase your panel or your table, your booth, your appearance. Jump on. Let us know. It gives me a little noise. And yeah, if perhaps you're heading to WonderCon, you just want to talk about what you're expecting from the show. There's the link. I'll leave it on the screen for a little while longer. Okay. Another special video presentation for Superman and Lois, a show which is a damn sight better than I think a lot of people were thinking it was going to be. But yeah, that's a hell of a program. If you've not been watching it, it's not only that, but it's grown and evolved, and it's really kind of it sucks you in. It's a hell of a show, is Superman and Lois. And this is what they're going to be doing a special video presentation in North 200A. So it's the big room again. Yeah, it depends who shows up live. I'm hoping that a video presentation isn't going to be the norm. And if it is, why aren't they then able to stream that simultaneously out to the internet? So there we go. Good friends. And it's good to see them representing with this particular panel, 2:30 till 3:30 in North 200B. It's the 30th anniversary of X-Men, the animated series. Now, as it happens, good friends to the show. They've been on, we've talked to them, and I've sat with them at Comic-Con. They're just the most wonderful couple. It's Eric and Julia Lewald, who are the showrunners and authors of, showrunners of X-Men, the animated series. I would reach over and grab X-Men, the art and the making of the animated series, which I bought Caroline for. Oh no, was it me who bought it? No, it might be one of you guys actually. That bought. She's got that for a birthday present. And yeah, it's a well-loved show in this particular household. And no, Eric and Julia are just amazing. Jessica Tazang, who's the international comics historian and also star of AMC Secret History of Comics, they're going to be talking about 30 years of the fandom of X-Men, the animated series. Not only the show itself, but also its ongoing legacy, considering it's now been shown on Disney Plus and is getting a new audience, and people are recognizing it as the possible default X-Men, because it really is as strong as it was when it first came out. Do check that out. That, I think, is going to be a really cool, fun panel. 30th anniversary celebration of X-Men, the animated series, 2:30. Okay, 3 o'clock Marvel Draw Live. It depends who shows up, but you've got Brian Crosby, who's going to be the creative director of Marvel themed entertainment. It depends who's going to show up to help you draw Marvel. But you've got enough people in the building. It's time to get them front and foremost. So there we go. So other panels that kind of interested me. The changing landscape of crowdfunding at 3:30. David F. Walker again. Chris Ryle. So yeah, you've got some names here. Jennifer Stevens-Balcom, who's from the estate of Dave Stevens. Eric Moss, who's the co-founder of Zoop. Moderated by the other co-founder, Jordan Plosky of Zoop. How crowdfunding has not only grown, thrived, but also possibly saved comics during lockdown, and saved that relationship between creatives and its audience. This is a really interesting panel, but I think it may be a little bit inside baseball for a number of people. I may be in the room. I would have been in the room for that because I'm just very, very curious. For most people, I think, though, this could be a really cool one. Star Wars and fandom, the early days. I have mentioned on numerous occasions on this show that while I consider myself a Star Wars fan, I am not a member of the Star Wars fandom because I think a large percentage of it is particularly toxic. I think it's far too argumentative. I think it's far too combative. And I don't think it's as inclusive as the source material wants it to be. And indeed, what George Lucas wanted for the show, for the fandom. I think the fandom's just a little too aggressive. Back in the day, though, in those naive summer days, there was some genuine love, and it was what propelled Star Wars to being what it is today. And that initial fandom, which had so much love for the franchise and for the stories, before things went south. This is what it's going to be celebrating. Craig Miller, Lucasfilm's original director of Pan Relations and a publicist on Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, gives a slideshow on the early association between Star Wars and fandom, including stories about how fans got involved and how they were kept involved from even before the film came out. This is going to be in room 300D. It's for an hour, and I think that could be really interesting. But like I say, where the whole aspect of fandom for Star Wars, that's gonna be. I would be in the room for that, if anything, just to kind of remember what Star Wars fandom used to be like. So there we go. Let's have a look at continuing on. We've got ourselves a spotlight on Becky Cloonan, great creator. That's at 4 o'clock. Also at 4 o'clock, Prime Video Undone. Now, this is a show that hasn't come over to the UK yet, so I haven't seen this. It's in North 200A, so it's a big enough room, or the big room of the weekend. If anyone's seen Undone, do let us know what you think of it. The stars and the producers and co-creators are going to be on stage for a special screening and Q&A ahead of Undone's long-awaited second season. If you've watched the first, please let us know what you thought of Undone, because I've never heard of it, and if it's something worth checking out. I've got Amazon Prime. Is it available on Amazon Prime over here? He says as he dials up Amazon Prime nice and quickly while he's got his phone ahead of him. Undone. Check that out. It could be fun. AMC's The Walking Dead. Following that in North 200B. It's there's going to be it's going to be busy enough. I'm just typing in Undone. Is it there? Is it available? Yes, it is. I could watch that. Okay, fine, fair enough. I might check that out later. So AMC's Fear the Walking Dead. It's kind of taking that mantle of The Walking Dead, isn't it? And considering it was almost dismissed as the second stepchild of the Walking Dead franchise, it's now stepped up to be the show to watch. Whether The Walking Dead will remain a rewatchable show down the line, especially the back end of the seasons. Fear the Walking Dead seems strong across the board, so that could be a very interesting lineup. Art as a Career, Babs Tarr at 5 o'clock in the evening. That's in room 211. That's going to be more for your inside baseball creatives, but if there's anyone who knows how to maintain a career, especially under such intense critical pressure, it's Batgirl's Babs Tarr. She's an amazing creative, and really hope that people show up for that. But you do also have at the other end of the spectrum of the comics and comic fandom, you also have Behind the Scenes of The Boys presents Diabolical. This is at 5 o'clock as well. It's an animated series with executive producer Simon Rayakopa and supervising director Giancarlo Volpa taking part in a Q&A. So hopefully you'll get some clips, see some working action stuff of what you can expect from this anthology series set in the series of The Boys, which, well, frankly, ain't for the kiddies. So how it's going to work as a that kind of presentation, who knows? Yeah, the ones that kind of caught my attention. Then let's continue. Then room 300D at 6:30 in the evening. David Avalon, we had him on the show a couple of weeks ago. Great guy. Knows about adapting franchises and properties to other media, including comics. Mark Haynes, Battlestar Galactica, Stargate in 24, and Stephen Peros, She, Stoker, and Wells, discussing and answering your questions about adapting famous novels, iconic characters, and hit TV shows to comic book and graphic novels. I think that just could be a really cool, interesting panel. And David Avalon is just one hell of a guy to listen to. If there's two people who, well, if there's three, we'll go with Mark Bernardin as well. But if there's two people, I would absolutely just sit in the room and listen to them reciting the phone book. It is Kevin Smith and it's David Avalon, because he knows exactly how to get you involved and really is a great storyteller. So yeah, well worth checking out on that. Let's have a look at what else we've got as well. The WonderCon Masquerade at 8:30 and North 200A. So you've got a little bit of a gap there while they get that sorted out and set up. So yeah, all in all, more about the fandoms and the actual nuts and bolts of telling stories, I feel. Really cool panel lineup, I think, for the Saturday. Anything there that jumped out at you? Now's the time to tell me. Veronica Nunes, I believe I saw Craig Miller at another convention talk about the fan involvement during the early years. Really? Yeah. The thing is, it kind of started from such an innocent place, did the Star Wars fandom, and there was almost a little element of toxicity to start with, but that was more the kind of the pushback to the whole idea of Star Wars from those that thought they knew better. But when it comes to the actual fans themselves, things only kind of started going south once the films kind of disappeared from the screens, and once the internet kicked off, once maybe the expanded universe kicked off as well, because there was all this stuff to kind of debate and where it sat in the where it sat in the canon. I don't know when it all went wrong. I have no idea. Toby, I'm surprised that John Michael James Straczynski isn't in the guest or panel listing. True, but I think he's kind of fallen out of love with being a part of panels. The man obviously can hold an attention in the room, and he likes interacting with his fans. If you've ever followed him on Twitter, he is more than happy to answer questions. I think there's just this element of being in the room with people. He kind of likes a bit of distance. So who knows? Maybe I'm misreading that entirely. If somebody knows him, yeah, let me know, because I want to obviously get that right. But that's how I feel he seems to come across for myself. So that's the Saturday. Like I say, all very, very strong, but it's all very kind of the nuts and bolts and the fandoms of the whole thing, which, to be fair, I think you could also say about the panels across the board. It's not so much about the content. I don't know if I'm misreading that as well. There's not so much about properties coming and showcasing. And those that do may not need it, but I don't know. How are you reading these panels? What do you think? I think that's where I am at the moment. It's more about the fandoms more than anything. So there we go. All right, then let's go into the program's track for Sunday. And it starts with Rhapsody PR's 14th annual Behind the Music panel. Always the great way to start the day. Let's see who they've got involved, because they usually get some great names. Oh, look at this lot. Sean Callery from Halo and the rest. Good Lord. Jeff Russo, Star Trek Picard again, and the rest. Sherry Chung from Kung Fu. Kurt Farquhar from the Proud Family. Dominic Lewis for Bullet Train, and Joseph Shirley, The Book of Boba Fett, moderated by Mary Schaefer, who did who is one of the stars of Star Trek Discovery. Composers giving you a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into creating the scores to some of today's most popular series and films. I don't know what it is about this panel but I always have so much fun at it. And I think it's just when I've seen this panel, or it is Rhapsody PR that put the panel on at San Diego Comic Con, and they host it in Ballroom 20. They host it in Indigo, sorry. It's always such a fun panel to just kind of like talk about that, scoring those big moments, and then also the process of getting a score to the screen. Always such a fun panel, and always a great one to start the day on as well. There we go. Room 207, Rhapsody PR's 14th annual Behind the Music panel. Writing for indie comics around the same time, if you're more into your comics, David Lucarelli, David Avalon again, Charlie Stickney, and Ryan Wynn, talking about 4 very different routes that they took to become indie comic writers, describing their writing process and offer advice about how to break into the industry, and free comics to everybody who asks a question. I guarantee there's going to be free comics handed out left, right, and center at that one. That's room 209, just down the road from the Behind the Music panel. So there, 2 great panels side by side. Check that out. That's a great way to start the day. So yeah, there we go. Bob's Burgers movie in 200A, if that's something that interests you. I don't know what it is about Bob's Burgers. It just leaves me cold. I don't know why. It would seem to be the kind of thing that would get my attention, but who knows? Let's put it this way. If I was in the building, if I was attending WonderCon, I would be hanging fire for half an hour. No, I would not be attending the Spotlight to Tulu Lote, although that would be a very fascinating panel to attend, just to hear another Yorkshire accent on a stage, because she's from Batley. That's what I just can't get out of my head. Lass is from Batley, like 10 miles down the road. Building a new world of immersive entertainment. Where is it? I've got my Oculus, which I'm really getting. I get excited about what its future is, considering that the Oculus and VR has been around for a couple of years now. I think it's still waiting for that one game that's just going to grab people's attention, and that's going to be the linchpin and get people into VR. I don't know. It's had too many kind of stories where people don't enjoy VR, or it's not immersive enough. And then, as Caroline says, Caroline, who has turned around and said she will never put on the Oculus at all, she's only vaguely interested in a couple of the health and fitness stuff that is available. But generally, anyone who wears VR goggles ends up looking like a bit of a prat. Yeah, I get that. But hopefully we'll have some creatives that can kind of break through that spell. From studio giants to independent productions throughout the United States, a group of artists discuss some of the activations in the pop culture industry and the new frontier of interactive events. Hopefully this will be something that will deal with that, building a new world of immersive entertainment in room 213 AB. In 207, Ted Lasso, the hero to believe in. Is it going to be a discussion about Ted Lasso? Yes, it is. We've got none of the cast, none of the producers, Jessica Zhang talking with therapists, hosts, writers, artists, and TV critics as they explore what makes this series stand out above others. So, yeah, a Ted Lasso circle jerk, if that's something that interests you. So there we go. But that is going to be at 11. I think, however, a lot of people are going to be in 200A because Tom Swift is a CW show, which looks interesting. Still not a great deal known about it, so this will be its grand coming out party. Cast members of the new show providing an exclusive first look at the series following the sci-fi adventures of the title character and his friends after the shocking disappearance of his father. Oh dear, let's rip somebody's parent away and throw them into the fire. That's Tom Swift in North 200A. Spotlight panel with Scotty Young at 11:30, so long as he's drawing. Is he? Let's have a look. He's going to be talking about, I can imagine, his new studio, talking about the breaking down of his story projects, the way that he's now stepping away from the art duties on I Hate Fairyland, which I'm not 100% happy about. But hey, that's the way that they're going to relaunch that book. The Me You Love in the Dark, which is one of my favorite comics for the last couple of years. Twig, which I've yet to pick up the Ashcan for, and I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that this week. Scotty Young in his showcase panel. That's going to be at 11:30 in room 208. But let's keep going and go through another CBLDF panel, leading the charge against censorship, strategies for defending comics in your community. Aren't they doing their best to kind of rehabilitate themselves? What a shame. Okay. Woke. New comedy series. We've got the producers, we've got the stars, Lamone Morris, Team Earth, and Blake Anderson showing up. This is going to be a show appearing on Hulu. Season 2 is on its way. Woke continues to upend black nerd and activist culture, definitely satirizing with a wink and a smile, inspired by the life and work of artist Keith Knight. Could be cool. And like I say, it's in with a big room, North 200A. Any of these jumping out? Let's see what if there's anything that kind of is tickling your fancy. Please do let us know, because I want to showcase what you're wanting to see as well. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, Andrew Dickinson, the music panel at SDCC, is a great kickoff panel on the Thursday, and he is turning. Andrew says it's a lot of looking back. Yes, a lot of like I say, celebrating the fandom. But let's see what happens. Movers and shakers. Shout out to Sherry, the first woman to be governor of music branch of the Television Academy. Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, the music panel, it's a great panel. A great kickoff to the panel on Thursday, isn't it? It's just a great way to start the show. I don't know what it is about that show, that panel. It just really does the job. Right, there's 3 here that caught my attention. Right, at 12:30. Let's go back a little bit, because there's, like I say, the 3 that caught my attention. In 208, creating comics for kids of all ages. Jean Yang, Sarah Kuhn, Shannon Hale, Mary Bellamy, moderated by Tracy Edwards. Comics is a medium that works on many levels. Comics that make us laugh, cry, and inspire us to be brave and bold. At any age, we can appreciate all the little things that make a comic great. For me, comics have been a little bit stagnant, purely because they have been geared towards predominantly a fandom which have grown up with comics since the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, which means you have a fandom of my age and slightly older. That's who your mainstream comics seem to be aimed towards. I'm more excited about the next generation. I'm more excited about comics that are going to get more kids reading comics, which is why I want to see comics in libraries. I want to see comics in schools. I want to see comics in school libraries. You can kind of see a theme there. Those creatives that pitch their stories to the younger audience, I'm down for, which is why I like Wind from James Tynion. That's the thing that excites me, the next generation of stories and storytellers, which is why I really love YA versions of like DC superheroes, DC Supergirls, for example, future adaptations. I don't know. That's the kind of thing that interests me. So let's see how the storytellers are going to take that and run with it. Like I say, you've got 3 there, which you are absolute legends, all special guests of WonderCon: Jean Yang, Sarah Kuhn, and Shannon Hale. That is, I think, is going to be a really cool panel. But then you've got 2 others in room 300D, the bigger room down the way. Comic books and music, the storylines and energy that brings a lot of people together. And again, some great names here as well. Comic books and music link us to the best love stories, and we often retell them time and again. Today, both popular cultures raising a dynamic range of emotions and nostalgic feelings. So you've got Josh Frankel, who's the owner and publisher of Z2 Comics. Again, a publisher that seems to be going through the roof at the moment. Effie Brown, executive producer of film and television. Jennifer Sullivan from Membrane LLC, Gary Phillips, who's a writer, Devin Watkins, founder of Superpower Enterprises, Jeffrey Gund, who's the CEO of Infolist.com, and Rick Gibson, Senior Vice Chancellor of Pepperdine University. That's a very powerful lineup that know what they're talking about. That could be really, really cool. That could be interesting. Comic books and music. That could be interesting. But then again, in North 200B, 100 years of visual effects. And here is where you've got the likes of some of the best people telling about the best visual effects going through. I think if you are somebody that watches the likes of Corridor Crew on YouTube, this could be the panel for you. I'm a fan of the Corridor Crew on YouTube series. Watch one of the recent ones where one of the guys that put together Gollum, put together Davy Jones for the Pirates of the Caribbean series. They were talking about what got them into visual effects, and they were talking about Ray Harryhausen, the legend, which is Ray Harryhausen. Visual effects, when done right, can be a real highlight to a story, but it's got to have that balance, and it's got to have real artisans. It can't just be thrown together. And people seem to think that it really is, at the moment, a case of control, visual effects, render face, off you go. There's more to it. And this is where we're going to be talking about the legacy of visual effects. I think that would be the one I would be in the room for. I would be in the room for North 200B, 100 years of visual effects. Zooming and booming at 1 o'clock in room 209, Star Trek's post-pandemic golden age. Yes, we have got ourselves a whole bunch of new series on the way, but this is more about the fandom of Star Trek and how they are going to be enjoying shows, which is another fandom that seems to be growing more and more toxic as days go on, which is rather frustrating. But you've got shows that are on the way, which really look very exciting indeed. And it's a shame that we're going to be having the likes of people just kind of possibly tearing it apart. Those that consider themselves fans really kind of ripping into it before we've even seen a frame. Strange New Worlds looks cool. Picard still looks vaguely cool, even if the writing's a little bit ropey at the back end. Sorry, at the start of it. I don't know. That could be rather cool. But see what you think of it. Zooming and booming, that's in room 209 at 1 o'clock. Let's check in with the comments. Andrew Dickinson, Stackpole for Battletech. Andrew Dickinson, Elite Dangerous, superb in VR. Yes, if a little bit too, it's a little bit too puzzle box for me. Is Elite Dangerous. You have to really put the mileage in to get even a little far in, and then you have to keep clawing and clawing and clawing. I know people that have managed to reach Earth in Elite Dangerous, and it's taken them nearly a year to get that. I don't know. I like the idea of immersive worlds, and I want to see how that's going to pan out. Okay, Kung Fu is the new presentation of the new series. Slight change to the obviously the whole dynamic of it, but what would you expect from Greg Berlanti? But you've got Christina M. Kim and Robert Behrens, who are the showrunners, and you've got a video presentation of this series. Quarter-life crisis causes a young Chinese-American woman, Nikki Shen, to drop out of college and go on a life-changing journey to an isolated monastery in China. But when she returns to San Francisco, finds her hometown is overrun with crime and corruption. When I remember Kung Fu, it was a loner walking from town to town, that mysterious stranger. Oh, well, this is going to be more, let's go back home. It's Iron Fist. Am I wrong? It's Iron Fist. Without the pseudo-science. Pseudo magic, sorry. See how they're going to do pan out with that, but you'll find out more. 1 p.m. North 200A. It's going to be an interesting presentation. That's going to be rather cool. Let's see who else we've got. Like I say, these are the ones that jumped out at me. If I'm scrolling through and you spot one that kind of interests you, do let us know. William S. Clausen, USO History and History and Fiction. I think the other UFO panel on the Friday will be more interesting, perhaps. This is going to be a little bit more specific. It's Californian UFOs, unidentified submerged objects. Could be cool. I don't know who's going to show up for it, though. In North 200B. I'm in the nerd business. Yeah. How do you create and sustain a business that caters to the geek lifestyle? No names involved in this, but considering who's in the room,
and who's attending Comic-Con, this could have some real draw, some real names. It's just a shame they've got no names to kind of spread the word about it. But from lifestyle goods, high-end nerd collectibles, to geeky services, to streaming nerd content. Yeah, so expect Tony B. Kim to be on that one, and a bunch of others as well. Until you get some names involved, yeah, who knows? I'm in the nerd business. Okay, so this is more about spread. The panels seem to be in this one about spreading the word, spreading the good word. So saving comic books in libraries, steampunk variants. Teaching comics literacy, writing for kids. Where do ideas come from? It's about spreading the word, I think. The importance of online branding and professionalism. Yeah, all right, okay. If that's really going to grab your attention, fine. But at the same time of all of those, and there's a fair few at 3 o'clock, it was this one. The enduring appeal of the Alien franchise and how Ripley set the standard for strong female characters. How about that for a title? Gareth von Kallenbachnoff, skewed and reviewed, along with Victor and Juliet Calderson, look at the enduring appeal of the Alien franchise and how Ripley set the standard for strong female characters. It said it right there in the title. They follow Ripley and her impact on those who followed, from Amanda to those in the impending television series. It's going to be a lot of guessing, I suspect, down the line of what the actual future of Alien could be. But I think it's going to be a fair old discussion about they hope that a female heroine still remains strong in the Alien franchise moving forward. The fact that in the description it's basically repetitive of the title, I'm hoping that this panel doesn't run out of ideas when there's so much it could talk about. It's such a strong concept for a panel, and I hope it doesn't run out of steam. Does that make sense? Starts at 3. It's going to be 45 minutes. The enduring appeal of the Alien franchise and how Ripley set the standard for strong female characters. Expect the word Buffy to get mentioned at least once. So, yeah. Could be interesting, but I'm hoping it doesn't run out of steam. But there we go. How to be a one-person comic company at 2:10 to 3:30. Brian Haberlin knows his stuff, and that could be really interesting. But I think for myself, comics is a collaborative medium. It's one of the last true collaborative mediums. And when a collaboration works well, that's when a comic works well. Single-person stories are great. And there are some I could point out that work as examples. But personally, I think when you work as a team and work as a collaboration, that's why it's good. Do you know what it is? Comic. Okay, I'm really going to go meta on this one. It was reminded to me in a documentary once that comics are one of a few original American art forms. It's comics and it's jazz. The thing that binds the two together for me is working as a collaboration, bouncing off the other, not dominating the conversation, but then just feeding and generating and whirling and coming together. That's comics, that's jazz. A one-person comic company, it can sometimes work, but you've got to be one hell of a soloist to pull it off. See how it works with that panel, 3:30 in room 210, how to be a one-person comic company. And then that's it, really. Wrapping it up at 5 o'clock. What's in a name? Naming kids and other things in your life the geek way. Well, how many Rays have there been in the last 2-3 years? Yeah, let's get into that. But the ones that caught my attention at the back end, at 4 o'clock, the future of Doctor Who. Well, obviously, we're all excited to discuss about what we could be seeing from the next iteration from Doctor Who. Now we've got
fan favorite showrunner returning. What's the new Doctor going to look like? Who's the new Doctor going to be? Can we have a vibrant Doctor after Jodie Whittaker? Because for me, and while a lot of people have had the issues with the show, her as a Doctor has pretty much defined what Doctor Who is to me. That it is unlimited. The possibilities are just opened up. And to have that then return back to a middle-aged white bloke kind of fills me with dread. So we'll see how it goes. And obviously this is going to be a lot of fans talking about the future of Doctor Who and what they're expecting from it. Obviously coming from a slightly different perspective, because it's going to be the American fans who have a different skew of Doctor Who, obviously, as the American program, but as the English program. But could be interesting, that. And then also we have ourselves storyboarding ins and outs. Again, it's we've had a storyboarding, or we've had a storyboarding panel already, but this is going to be about the creating and finalizing of a film and how storyboarding guides the project. I'd like to have seen more concept art panels because I like that aspect of it. But okay, storyboarding, how to develop and apply storyboarding skills in the day-to-day life of a storyboard artist. So there we go. So there's our panels. What do you think? We've got ourselves a couple of comments. Let's go through this. Andrew English, hello all. I was streaming on Twitch and I forgot about tonight. Really? You're gonna have to let us know about your Twitch channel, mate. You're gonna have to let us know what you stream. What? Go on, jump in. Tell us what you get up to. What do you stream, mate? What's your game of choice? Andrew, I'd love to know. Introduce Blue Mister Dave Sim springs to mind for the one-person comic company. Yes. Cerebus is a defining comic book. Dave Sim for other reasons. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he showed it could work. So there, into the Blue Mystery for the first half of Cerebus anyway. Yeah, absolutely. Dan Berry. Okay, listen, I've been busy. Dude, I've been still kind of doing a little bit of decorating, and obviously this chest isn't helping either. What do you think of the rumor from the Mirror? I don't read the Mirror. I don't read the Sun. I don't read the Times. I sometimes read the Independent. I read Sky News on occasion. What's the rumor, Dan? Let us know what's going on. Movers and Shakers. Neil Blomkamp's proposed Alien films need to be revived, to be honest. Have you read the comic adaptation of that? That was really, I think it was the Neil Blomkamp proposal. That was really cool. Then again, I also read about old stuff. Andrew English is talking about what he streams. He streams Minecraft tonight and old Lucas games tomorrow, maybe. Oh, that could be cool. Okay. Oh, and he's also, it was his first stream tonight. He was just working out the Kinks. Hey, I like the Kinks. If you can have them as your soundtrack, that'd be great. Everybody's going to be happy. Yeah, any of the old stuff from the Kinks. I'm a fan. If you can just have them as your soundtrack, that'd be cool. Right, the rumor from the Mirror: Hugh Grant as the Doctor. Well, I would say that they can't afford him. Considering that the BBC are under siege at the moment. They are being attacked from all sides, partially because of their supposed impartiality or supposed impartiality politically, but then they kind of work their way into very much right-leaning political standpoint. So there's this real siege mentality. Not only that, but the Conservatives are wanting to cut back on the funding for the BBC because they feel that they've been slighted and marginalised by their news organization and by their coverage. They feel like they've always been attacked by the BBC. So I think what they want from Doctor Who, which, if you remember, was the first modern event series that went global and really brought in the cash, really kind of brought in that green, sold as a real kind of merchandise, which means you had the likes of, well, you had Christopher Eccleston abandoning the series. And I think that was the reason, because he just saw the heads of exec going, okay, we're thinking toys, we're thinking merchandise, we're thinking your face on a lunchbox. Instead of focusing on the story, which is what Christopher Eccleston's guiding light is, it turned from a TV show to a product. And then the BBC just looked for the product in every series in an attempt to get the money in, so that then they could just bolster the war chest against attacks such as this. When you have series like The Great British Break Off leaving the BBC and going to another channel, when you have the likes of Doctor Who waning in interest for whatever reason, at which point that's when you have some real issues, because then the BBC find themselves on the back foot. So I personally feel, in much the same way that they have done with the likes of David Tennant and a number of the other performers that they've had for Doctor Who for the last 10 years, I think what they're going to do is really scale it back, make the most of the series as a kernel of an idea. And I think this is going to be Russell T Davis's brief. Do it on the cheap. If not on the cheap, then just a damn sight cheaper than it would be than hiring Hugh Grant. You are not going to be getting a major name in that role. Simple as. Okay. Michael P. Christopher was the best Doctor. Yes, he was. And yeah, being reminded that Hugh Grant has been the Doctor already. He showed up in a Red Nose Day skit along with Joanna Lumley as well. So yeah, I personally agree. Christopher Eccleston was stunning. Absolutely. The success of Doctor Who moving forward from that Russell T Davis years was all down to Christopher Eccleston. There were some moments in there which were absolutely blistering acting. It was almost, do you remember when we had Star Trek Next Generation show back up, and they got Jean-Luc Picard, played by this bald Brit actor who acted and chewed the scene of every single line. He acted the living crap out of that show. Of course he did. So that's what you're looking for. But I don't think you're going to get a name actor. Simple as. So there we go. So what did we think? WonderCon, we're at an hour and a half. We're going to wrap things up now. Haven't received a call from the NHS, which I'm not happy about, but there we go. What's jumped out at you? Of course, if you're watching this on the playback, or if you're watching this now, if you're heading to WonderCon, what panels will you be making a beeline for? Veronica, if you're still watching, you're only going on the Saturday and Sunday. Which ones have caught your attention on the Saturday and Sunday? Will you be attending panels? That's a very good question, because I'm the panels guy. I like panels. I find them mostly the most appealing thing about Comic-Cons. So, yeah, are you somebody that goes to panels, or is it just not for you? I mean, Andrew English, I'm at WonderCon for the cosplayers. Everyone goes to cons for their own thing. That's why they're good. That's why they're cons. That's why we love them. So there we go. Yeah, I think it's just everyone's got their own flavor when it comes to Comic Cons. For myself, the panels, I think it's going to be looking at them. It's a lot of looking back. It's a lot of legacy, but there's a fair few that are looking to the future of creativity and looking at the future of fandoms, not necessarily the product themselves. We have yet to get that back through the door. Those shows, those Comic Cons where we have a panel which will then show up in Entertainment Weekly. So, I mean, WonderCon has never really been that show, but it's kind of had its foot in the door of getting that news out and getting that kind of vibe going. Where are we at? What do you think? Veronica Nunes saying, I'm going to panels. I have a lot on my list, but I'm going to have to add another since I found a friend of mine is doing it. Monsters are for everyone. But I'll tell you what, let's search for that and let's spread the word about Monsters for everyone. Then let's search for it and let's shine the spotlight on it. Who's the man almighty? It's nice if the page actually worked, don't you think? This is the thing. I'm finding it incredibly buggy, to be honest, which is unfortunate. But here we go. Monsters are for everyone. It's in room 300B. Whether in extreme horror, sci-fi explorations, or fantastical fun. Oh my word! The love of monsters is for real. Experts in the field: Steve Niles and Shannon Eric Denton, Kevin Conran from Sky Captain, David Hartman, Army of the Dead, Chris Mowbray from Toho's Godzilla, Rodney Barnes from Philadelphia, Mark Bonanno and Hector Aker from Mondo, and legendary toy designer James Groman from Mad Balls discuss inspirations and their upcoming film, comics, and toy projects that revolve around this ever-evolving appreciation of the monstrous things that scare and delight us. That is a panel lineup and a half. Good Lord. That's on Saturday, 11 o'clock in the morning in room 300B. I suspect that one could get full very, very quickly. That's a panel and a half. Fantastic stuff. Well, yeah, well pointed out, Veronica. Can fully understand why you're going to be possibly making a beeline for that. Karen Sessions, afternoon, everyone. I just got back from a big St. Patrick's Day parade. Surprise you still on. I'm going to WonderCon. Good to hear. Let us know if there's anything that you're going to in particular. She loves the panels. Saw a panel called No Tow Truck on Mars. I've seen it on the SDCC schedule, but was never able to make it. I just put that on my schedule. Well, I'll tell you what, then let's have a look at that as well. Because I spotted that and I didn't know what that was. To be fair, I think it was more the fact that I think of tow trucks and Mars. I think Elon Musk is going to show up and embarrass himself. So no tow trucks beyond Mars. It's going to be in Saturday at 10 o'clock in room 213 CD. So nicely small, but you've got the likes of David Rossing, JPL Mars Sample Return System Engineer, Michael Lashaw, JPL Mars Perseverance Sampling and Caching Team, and Rhonda M. Morgan, JPL Technologist, NASA HabX Concept, discussing how we boldly go where there's no one around to fix it. Here's stories from the trenches of the heartbreaks, close calls, and adventures of real-life solar system exploration. Yes, it's real life and hard science, and that's what we like to see. WonderCon have done that before. New York Comic Con have really gotten into proper STEM and proper hard science panels and space exploration. I think you're going to be seeing more of it as well. As long as Elon doesn't show his face, I think we'll all be fine. But there we go. That's a cool, that's a good recommendation. That panel called No Tow Trucks on Mars. Check that out. If you're heading to WonderCon, let us know. Let us know what's caught your attention. Let us know if there's anything that you would like to see at a future show. And what do you think this speaks of when it comes to panels at cons moving forward? Because like I say, it seems to be a lot of the spotlight panels of the special guests, but not so much of anybody else. So it seems to be kind of almost cautious. What's your take on it? Let us know in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube or in the Facebook. Let us know in the comments below if you're heading to WonderCon, let us know what you're excited about and whether it's something that you're getting really jazzed about. We're only 2 weeks away now. So hopefully I'm going to try and get somebody on next week, which is going to be with a little bit more of an in-depth perspective. This is what I'm negotiating with, just trying to get them on. An in-depth perspective of what it is and what WonderCon's trying to achieve with this first one back, IRL, since 2019. So there we go. That's our show. Thank you very much indeed for watching. As always, if you've enjoyed watching this, me babbling on for an hour and a half, like, subscribe. We're back again next Sunday at 6 o'clock GMT, which means, yes, 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern, until we are back with the clocks going forward. Watch, this is where I find out that the clocks go forward next week. Hang on a second. I'm gonna Siri it. Hey Google, when do the clocks go forward here in the UK?
In the United Kingdom, daylight savings time will start on Sunday, the 27th of March at 1 a.m. and will end on Sunday, the 30th of October at 2 a.m. United Kingdom time.
Thank you. Next week. So yeah, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. We're back to normal next Sunday. Hopefully you can join us for a show where we look into WonderCon and what it means to be back, and what that also means for San Diego Comic-Con and other conventions down the line. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully you stay nice and safe. Mask up if you get offered your fourth booster, whatever it is. If you take it, please. And let's see if we can all get this new normal up and running, regardless of how many people are out there trying to send us back to the old normal. That's not what I want. I want a new normal, please. And I want that. I want as many people to adopt it as possible. Okay. Take care. We'll see you soon. And yeah, Comic-Con on the way. WonderCon in 2 weeks' time. Looking fun. Take care.